Alright guys, so today we're going to be starting a topic that we'll be covering until the end of algebra, okay? And it's this concept of slope. And it is so important that we understand what it is, and we're going to be working on it for a very long time, and we're going to kind of start slow and then build up. So on your own piece of paper, put a title, what is slope? So put this title at the top. Now, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I show you that you don't write down, you just have to look at, but I will tell you specifically, like, hey, you need to write this down, okay? So, specifically, you need to write this down. What is slope? Go ahead and pause this and write all that down, and then I'll explain. So hopefully right now it's already been paused and you've already written everything down. Slope is the angle of the line. Now, unless you've heard of this in like 7th or 8th grade math, your only concept of slope is like the slope of like a ski slope, or like you ever hit like I'm gonna hit the slopes, like you go snowboarding or something. Slope is just an angle of a line, and we'll look at that in a little bit. Okay. Another way we talk about slope is this thing called rate of change. How much is something changing? And we'll a little bit talk about that in this video and more so in another video. And also for the third one, slope is the number with x after you solve for y. And I put a couple stars right there. That is not going to make sense right now, but it will later, okay? Because that's one of the most, remember how I told you solving for y is going to be very important? You're going to see that later, okay? So that is what slope is, and there's different types of slope, and we're going to be talking about that today. All right, so types of slope. I need you to write that down. There are 4 types of slope, and we're going to go over the 4 different types, okay? So there's types of slope. The first one is positive slope. I need you to write down positive slope and just sketch this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry about it. I just need a graph with a line going up, okay? A positive slope in algebra just means that as you're going to the right, it's going up. So what some students tell me is, well, yeah, it's going up here, but it's going down over here, which is true. But think, you read a book from left to right. So if you start at the left and you go towards the right, it's going up. So if it's going up, it's positive. Okay? So make sure all that's written down. The next thing that I show you, you don't have to, I just want you to look at. Okay? So here's a real world example of positive slope. This is a ramp for dogs to get into a car because sometimes they have bad hips or because they're really fat like my dog. I don't know. But as you can see, as I look at this picture from the left to the right, the slope of that ramp is going up. So that is a positive slope. Okay? So positive slope. Look here. This is a sign that you'll see on the roads when basically the road is really steep. So you have to be careful that you don't wear your engine out so your car doesn't break down. And as you can see, from the left to the right, it's going up. So that line is a positive slope. Okay, another one. This is a hill. It's a pretty steep hill. As you can see, as we look from the left to the right, it is going up. This is a positive slope. Okay, it's going up. You don't have to draw this, but just watch. These are algebra examples, so you'll be seeing a lot of this kind of stuff later. But it doesn't matter where the line is. It could be up here or down here, but as I go from the left to the right, it's going up. So this is a positive slope. And last example of a positive slope. This one's a little steeper, doesn't matter, but from the left to the right, it's going up. So basically, if it's going up, it's positive. Okay, gotta get that in your head. The next type is negative. I do need you to write this down. I need you to write negative slope. I need you to sketch this graph. It doesn't have to be perfect, but basically I just need you to put an x and y axis and the line going down. And you need to write going down to the right. Negative slope, when you're going left to right, is going down. So as you can see, if I start on the left side and I go follow the line, I'm going down to the right. That's negative slope. You need to write this down. Okay? This next thing, though, you don't have to. This is an example of negative slope. From left to right, that the slope of that hill is going down. That's a pretty steep slope. We'll talk about steep and narrow later. But that's going down. Here's another ramp. From left to right, it's going down. I don't know if y'all know this, but in any like major building, it is required by law that there has to be a ramp there because you have to have access for people who have to have wheelchairs. So you'll see a ramp on our campus in any kind of school, a lot of buildings. If there's stairs, there has to be a ramp as well. So there's a lot of ramps. And law states how steep that ramp can be. You can't have a really steep ramp because someone on a wheelchair couldn't be able to get up it. So it has to be kind of flat. So there's negative slope. And here's another example of negative slope. There's this guy zip-lining down to this beautiful beach. But as you can see, from left to right, that line is going down. Okay, so that is a negative slope. Algebra examples, you'll see here. Yet again, don't have to draw this, but just look. We have an x and y axis, and from the left to the right, it is going down. So that's negative. Okay, and that's another example as well. It's going down. So basically going up is positive, going down is negative. Those are the two main ones, positive and negative. Those are the main ones. These other two I'm going to talk about, but you're not going to see a whole lot. Okay? The first one is called zero slope. You do need to write this. Write down zero slope and sketch this. Okay? Zero slope means it's only going left to right, or you can call it a flat line, or you can also call it a horizontal line. Okay? Basically, it's a flat line. There's no change happening. You're not going up, you're not going down, you're just staying flat. Okay? So, an example of this is a table. You want a table to be a flat line. You don't want it to be angled up or angled down because then stuff would roll away. You want a table to be flat. So, flat here. Also, a horizon is flat. Okay? Or at least it appears flat to us, but flat line here. Also water, the horizon of the water, this is a flat line, okay? Anything that's a flat line is going to be zero slope, means there's no change. You're not going up, you're not going down, you're just staying flat, okay? Here's another algebra example of zero slope. It's just a flat line, okay? All right, you need to write this down. Last thing you need to write down. The last type is undefined, or it's also called no slope, okay? Oops, sorry for that. Kids really get no and zero confused. Zero is a flat line. No is a line going straight up and down. Okay? Going straight up and down, you can also say it is a vertical line. And this is not a function. So before in Unit 1 you talked about function, not a function. This is not a function. And you're not really going to see it a lot in algebra, but you actually do see it a lot in the real world. When you see like a cliff, this is essentially undefined. Okay? Because it's going straight up and down. Here's an algebra example, just going straight up and down. Another building, or a building, not another building, is going straight up and down, so that is undefined. Now what some students will say is, well yeah, but look right there it's moving. That's true, so here it's undefined, but right here it's going up, correct? So if it's going up, then that's positive. And then here it's going down, so then right here it's negative. Okay, so you can have parts of things that are, some are positive, some are negative, some are no slope, just kind of, that's how it works. Here's a rock wall. It is straight up and down, so it is undefined, or we could also call it no slope. Now look here real quick. Yeah, we're not writing this down, just look. What types of slope are there here? So we're just looking here, what types of slope do we see? Well, for me, I see a straight up and down line, basically. There's a little thing to it, but we can just kind of, close enough that this is no slope. Up here, I see a line here. So this is going up to the right, so that would be positive. Over here, I see it going down to the right, so that's negative. Over here, I see a flat line on top of this building, so that could be zero slope. So you're going to see these things kind of everywhere. All right, like you'll look at your computer, the top part would be zero slope, the sides would be no slope. If you look at the chairs, depending on which way you're looking at them, the legs could have a negative slope or a positive slope. So, I mean, you can see this stuff everywhere. It's in every single aspect of your life, whether you realize it or not. All right, so that's that part. Go ahead and go to the next thing.